Great day, great day. Come on in the room. Come on in the room. And as you arrive, as always, please like and share. Tag someone and let them know you are tuning in today. Welcome this great Monday evening. Come on in. Yes. And again, let us know how you are arriving. Are you excited? Are you curious about what today's topic will be about? Are you just coming in support of what we're offering? So just let us know right in the chat if you can and where you're joining us from. We are broadcasting live on a couple of different social media platforms now, including Facebook, LinkedIn, and also YouTube now. So excited to be putting it out there as well. So if you're joining from there, just let us know where you're joining from, any part in or any space or place that you might be in the United States or even across the globe. So thank you all for tuning in. And in the spirit of getting started, I am going to go ahead and get us started with our topic for today. And you'll see me shrink a little bit on the screen while we get through the process here because I want to share some slides as I walk through our presentation for today. And today's mindset matter is going to be about the mindset of ownership. Yes, ownership, taking full responsibility for your life and its outcomes. So I want to welcome everybody. Glad that you're here tonight. And really, honestly, there comes a point in life where growth stops being what happened to you, and it actually starts being about what you are going to do about it. Okay. And this is where the shift happens because as long as we are focused on circumstances, people, or situations outside of us, then we stay disconnected from what I call our power. Okay. So this is an intentional segment tonight. And I want to start off by saying that even as I was preparing this presentation for tonight, it really, really resonated with me. And just in my working through this and putting it together for you, I have already identified some areas where not only I have fallen short, but I am committed to creating great, great, great change. Okay. Because the moment we take ownership, yes, the moment we take ownership, and for this, I'm creating change because everything changes the moment we take ownership. So, ownership, yes, it's not about having control over everything. So, I want to preface it by saying that it is about taking responsibility for how you respond, how you show up, and how you remove or move forward. So, how you respond, how you show up, and how you decide for yourself that you are going to move forward. And that is why we are here, because that is where breakthrough is. That is where breakthrough is. Okay, so right away out gate, I want some chat engagement. So I'm going to ask you all, those of you who are joining, I want to just ask you a question right away. Let me start by saying, where in your life right now do you feel stuck? And if you don't have any moments or any space or parts of your life right now that you feel stuck, then great, awesome. But if there are some moments or some places in your life, in every facet of what you have going on for you that you feel stuck, just drop it in the chat. Be courageous and just drop it in the chat. I want to really just give you that opportunity. Okay. Because when you are courageous enough, yes, to drop it in the chat, that is the shift. The moment you say what it is, you actually take full ownership because that means you are acknowledging for yourself that you might fall short in some things, and starting off with just putting it out there courageously, that's ownership. And when you do that, you take your power back. Okay. So thank you for those who shared in the chat. So now I want you to say, if it is in my life, it is mine to lead. Okay. If it is in my life, it is mine to lead. And I say that from a space that if it's in me, if it's something that I need to be present, I need to show up, I need to participate in, whatever that looks like, because yes, there's some external things we don't have any control over. But if I am an active participant in it, then it is mine to lead. Okay. I want to normalize that as we start off. It is mine to lead. And so in our first segment, I want to just take the deep dive on what ownership really means. Okay. And what ownership really means is that it's not about blame, it's about power. And oftentimes we want to put things off on others, but that's really not how this works. When we own what is ours, when we own what situation, circumstance, or whatever we might be in, and our place in it, that is and shows us the power of ownership. Because yes, ownership is about power. It means you stop waiting. You stop pointing fingers and you stop giving your power away. Because yes, folks, ownership says, if I'm owning it, the language I use is that I may not control everything, but I am responsible for how I respond, how I adjust, and yes, how I decide I'm going to move forward. So I don't want us to get into a mindset of perfectionism, because that can be a challenge for us also. But I don't need to own it all, because life can happen, and life can happen in our situations and circumstances that we got. But I must recognize that ownership for me means I do respond. I do get to choose how I respond, how I adjust, and how I decide to move forward in it. Okay. So what I want you to type in the chat is just 2 words: own it. Okay. But only type it if you're really ready to take your power back. Yes. Only type it if you are ready to take your power back. Okay. So yes, I want to really, that gives us a space of understanding what ownership means. And now I want to shift, because I also need you to understand what it costs when we blame and we make excuses. Because yes, there's a cost to that, far more than time. Because when we blame and make excuses, oftentimes we self-select out, and we don't start, or we don't have that movement forward. Okay. Because yes, blame sometimes feel justified, but it keeps you stuck. And excuses sometimes even sound reasonable, but they delay your growth. Okay. Here's what blame and excuses do to us. Okay. It keeps you in that victim mindset that doesn't serve you. Yes, blame and excuses does that. Okay. It also creates dependency on others. Okay. It creates dependency on others changing. Okay. It also limits your ability to take action. Okay. And this is where, for me, this really got real for me. Okay. This really got real for me, because there are some things that I got going on for myself. And when I thought about the blame and excuses, I will just say that it really hit home for me, and in a way that I even was telling myself, thank you, God, for this download, and thank you for how you made this not only accountability, but conviction for me as I was putting this together, because this is really going to be some intentional action that I'm going to take, because I don't want to fall in any of these excuses in situations that I might have going on for myself that I may feel are challenging me right now without actually owning it. And I think maybe sometimes I may have fallen into the blame and excuses category. In fact, I don't think I may have. I think I have. And I'm committing in front of everybody that's listening. I'm committing to making change for myself, because in the spirit of transparency, I want you to know that, hey, I'm normalizing that this is a challenge that we all can have. And ownership is real. Ownership is very real, folks. Here's the truth. You cannot change what you refuse to own. And that's huge, because I got to own it in order to make change. If I'm blaming, if I'm making excuses, then that keeps me away from it. And yeah, it may feel good initially, but it's not moving us forward. So think about, even whatever you put out there that's got you stuck. Think about that. You can't change it if you don't want to own it. And owning it doesn't mean you have to broadcast it to the world. It just simply means that you put it out there to be courageous. And oftentimes courageous is accountability. And thank you all for your vulnerability in putting it out there. But it doesn't mean, depending on what it is, that you've got to broadcast it at all times to the world. But if you want a little bit of accountability, or have a trusted person that you can put it out there to, it's good to do that, so that you can have some accountability to remind you that you need to continue to own that. You need to work on that. You need to not fall in the blame and excuses trap that might exist out there. Okay? Because here's the hard truth, folks. Every time you blame, you surrender control. You essentially give your control back. You lose your power. Okay? So I want us to own it so that we regain our power. Okay? That's big. I want you to go with me on this. Okay? And as we move to our next segment, I want to talk through about external dependency. Yes, external dependency versus internal accountability. Okay? Because many people are waiting on, yes, including me, the right opportunity, the right timing, the right support, the right validation. Yes, all of those. The right timing, the right opportunity, the right support, the right validation, all of those, and probably even more. But I want to let you know that ownership shifts from external dependency to internal authority. Okay? Ask yourself, what am I waiting on that I need to take action on? Okay? What am I waiting on that I know myself I need to take action on? And where am I depending on others to do what I should be doing myself? Okay? And even third, what decision have I been avoiding? So think about that, folks, in terms of your goals, in terms of, things that you want to do in 2026, and what ownership looks like and needs to look like for you to accomplish that. What decisions am I avoiding that could make my situation of ownership that much more better for me? Okay. And as you can see here, folks, even as we talk through this, I'm reminded of something you've always heard me say. And that is something as simple as, guess what? All roads lead back to you and me. Okay. So remember that if we're going to own it, if we're going to take responsibility, if we're going to take action and move forward and be accountable to that ownership, then that's the way we move forward, because I want to, and I'm committed to taking my power back. Okay. I'm committed to that. So I want you to drop in the chat one word, just one word. What are you taking ownership of starting today? Just one word in the chat. Let us know. What are you deciding for yourself today that you are going to take ownership of starting today? Because, yes, it takes a moment to make a choice and shift that mindset to make a positive action towards change. And I'm compelling each and every one of you to make today your moment. And just simply deciding today, the choice that I'm going to do just one thing to shift things for me that allows me to take ownership. And you can do that. You can do that. I want to challenge you, in fact, to give yourself permission to do that. And so now I want to talk about the identity of ownership, because you hear me talk about that a lot, leaning into that identity of our goals and who we need to be by 2026 or even beyond. Well, yes, folks, I've learned in my own actions and in my own mindset, and even doing this work for myself on a daily basis, that you have to lean into the identity of what ownership looks like. And yes, I will be the first to tell you that leaning into the identity of ownership, even though I'm getting my power back, and so do you, it is scary. And sometimes the fear bug might pop up, and sometimes the uneasiness and even discomfort might pop up. But this is a moment where we got to trust the process so that we see truly the capacity of what we are able to do. Okay? Because ownership is not just an action, it's an identity. And people who operate in ownership follow through, hold themselves accountable, adjust quickly when things go wrong, and they don't make excuses. Okay? So I'm adjusting, and I'm going to adjust, and I'm going to stop making excuses for myself. And this is me, folks, owning this and telling you this right now. But I'm telling you, when you do that, when you step into that identity, that's what you start doing. That's exactly what you start doing, is you start moving forward. You start making adjustments. You lean into that. You don't make excuses. Okay? You don't say things like, that's just how it is, or it is what it is. We hear that a lot. No, that's not how it is, and that's not is what it is, because then I'm not owning it. Okay? And when we make those statements, we're not saying we own it. Okay? What ownership identity says is, what can I do about it? What can I do about it? Meaning, what is in my power to take action to create change? Yes, ownership is the difference between reacting to life and leading your life. And as I've often told clients, and I'll say this to you on this webinar, is we got to own this, folks. We got to lead. And the best way to lead is through our choices each and every day that we live. And you don't want to reflect at the end of the day and say, hey, life just happened and you were part of it, but you just went with the flow. You just lived life as it was. And some of us can probably reflect of years of just living, because we don't have these moments of ownership, and we don't have these moments of challenging ourselves and moving outside of our comfort zone. But I will offer to you, if you can shift your mindset to the thought process of leading life versus reacting or just living, it could be a game changer to not only the power you receive, but to the trajectory of what that looks like going forward. We can do this, folks, And I'm saying we because I'm joining in you in this challenge. Okay. I'm really taking ownership tonight and I'm joining you in this challenge. And what I want to give you are practical ownership strategies. Okay. I want to give you some practical ownership strategies. Okay. So let's make this actionable. And I'm going to give you this in 4 steps. Okay. 4 steps, like you see here on the screen. The first step is call it what it is. And that's simply saying to yourself, I'm just going to be honest about where I am. Okay. I'm just going to be honest with myself about where I am. So being honest, meaning that I'm speaking truth, I'm just going to call it what it is. Okay. Here's the challenge. Here's the problem. Here's what it is. Here's what I'm faced with. Okay. Because no matter what you say and how you phrase it in honesty, there's always a choice for you after that. Okay. So either I'm saying, here's what it is, and I'm self selecting out. Here's what it is, and I'm avoiding. Here's what it is, and I'm passing blame, or I'm going to sit in victimhood. No, we don't want to do those things. I want to be honest about where I am and what it is. And then number 2 is I literally want you to own your role in it. Even if it's small, take responsibility for the part you play in the ownership of whatever that experience, challenge, circumstance might be. Okay? Own your role. That's number 2. Where's my role in this? How do I play this? How can I change my experience in this through my choices? Okay? So again, that's number 2. Now, the big number 3 is once I do that, make a decision. That's number 3. Make a decision. Indecisiveness keeps you stuck. If you can't make a decision, you're going to stay stuck where you are. Okay? And this one right here has been a challenge for me in the situation I'm thinking about for myself. It keeps me stuck. And what I've got to do is I've got to push through the discomfort, make the decision so I move out of stuckness and I move forward. Okay? And then number 4 is when we make a decision, we've got to commit to taking immediate action. Okay? Small actions build momentum. And as we continue commitment to moving forward, taking those small steps, taking those small actions, then you will see your ownership of that situation shifts and you will see your power coming back in a great way versus the situation. Okay? Consistency, folks, is ownership. Yes, consistency, folks, which means keep trying, keep pushing forward, keep making the best decision for you, even in discomfort, because eventually that is going to build confidence. And we love confidence, folks. We love being able to build ourselves up because as I continue to say yes, and yes, on the other side of that, yes, meaning the movement that goes forward, I will see resiliency. I will see confidence. I will feel good. And even more so, I will get to see capacity that I did not believe I had. Okay? And that's powerful. You too will see capacity that you did not believe you had. Okay? So I want to take a moment and I just want to pause and I just want us to reflect on those 4 things. And I want you to drop in the chat. What have you been avoiding owning? What have you been avoiding owning? And what's one action that you can take today? If you flip it and apply these 4 steps that I've laid out, just apply these 4 things that I'm telling you to do. How would that change tomorrow? Quite honestly, how would that change this evening? Just one action that you can take today. Okay? Yes, I'm loving the response in the chat. You know, yes, that reinforces your ownership. Putting it out there is a first step. You're owning it. Now it's a choice. And if you make that choice to move and take action, you're owning it in a great way. Okay? So here's what I want you to take away. If you don't take anything away from tonight, I want you to walk away with this. And that is that ownership is not easy. I will be the first to tell you that. But it is powerful. And if you are willing to be courageous, and the key word tonight is really, in addition to ownership, is courageous. It is powerful. But if you're willing to be courageous, you can make some amazing things happen for yourself. Because the moment you stop blaming, the moment you stop excusing, and the moment you stop waiting, everything shifts. Okay? Everything will shift. Change will happen. Momentum will happen. Things will open up. Things will look different. You, yes, you will feel even better about yourself. Okay? Say this out loud with me if you're tuning in and it's safe to do so. Is I take full ownership of my life and my outcomes. Yes, Nick Dillon, the Believe Coach. I take full ownership of my life and my outcomes. Okay? So the question I ask for you is, are you reacting to life, or are you willing from this day forward to lead your life? Because that's the best opportunity, folks. That's the best thing that I can offer to you as a true, compelling, give yourself permission action, is to lead your own life. Own it. Own every part of the process. Because even all the stuff that happens in life, happening each and every day, even every situation and circumstance that you even have in life, you get to choose how you play it out in your day-to-day choices. And as you own your actions and own your response in it and be committed to continuing to move forward, certainly as it impacts your goals, your life, your business, your relationships, your team, whatever that looks like for you, your family, yes, own it. And own it with pride, own it with dignity, own it with resiliency. And yes, folks, give yourself some grace, some compassion, and empathy as you go through that process. And if you find that this is a challenge for you, because yes, ownership, like I said, it's not easy, but it's powerful and it's real. And if you find that you have a challenge with this and you need some accountability support, as each Monday we tell you, you see the scrolling message at the bottom that tells you whatever platform you're tuning in from, there's a link in my bio that allows you to sign up for my discovery call to go deeper. And yes, on the screen there, you see the QR code. You can scan that. And also, it'll take you to my discovery call where you can sign up. And yes, again, let's go deeper. I love being an accountability partner for you and to support you in this effort. And again, thank you all for your engagement, for tuning in, and for supporting this effort from week to week to week. Today was different. Today was unique. And while today I was speaking to you from a learning and education standpoint, this, I would like to tell you, truly, truly spoke to me in a great way. And I am excited for what is to come ahead for me as it relates to ownership on a couple of different things that I have going on myself. And so again, as I stated earlier, it takes a moment, just a moment, to shift that mindset, to say, yes, today, right now, I am committing to taking ownership of my life, of my business, of my relationships, of my family dynamics, of my whatever that looks like for you and for me. I'm committed to what that looks like for me and owning what that outcome is for me based on my choices. Again, thank you all for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your Monday evening and have an amazing rest of your week. Be blessed and have a nice night. Take care.